name's Jocelyn, I'm 31 years old, and I'm just over $20,000 in credit card debt. I still get so nervous making these videos. I've tripped over my words so many times and my face is turning red. But I wanted to share my debt standings to see how much money is in each of my accounts. I'm so close to getting under $20,000. I officially owe no money to any of the banks that I was originally in credit card debt with. I have $0 balances all around. I can't tell you the last time I've had $0 balances on my credit card. That leaves the only balances on the personal loans that I've used to consolidate all of my debt. Unfortunately, this is the third time that I've fallen into the trap of credit card debt. The difference now being that I was—
Third time? Why is it the third time you fall into credit card debt? If you're not a credit card person, don't use it. And I mean, $20,000 is a lot of debt to have on a credit card. Now, let's just take my credit card, for instance. If I had that much debt on that credit card that I have, they charge me 30% interest. I have an 800 credit score, yet I still get charged 30% interest. That's why I seldomly use my credit card, honestly. You know, that's the kind of returns that we look for in the stock market, 30%. But it's guaranteed when you have a credit card with a bank.
Diagnosed with ADHD last year, so I have all of the tools and the resources now to get at my bad spending habits and my impulsivity. So I'm not doing this for a fourth time. I'm almost done paying off my oldest personal loan. It has a remaining balance of $334.82. My payment in April will completely pay it off. Second one, I owe $3,327.09. Then finally, the big one that has $16,558.88. My March payment for that one hasn't come out yet. That comes out this week. So once that $454.17 comes out of my account this week, I will be under $20,000 for credit card debt. That brings my total consumer debt to $20,220.79. Also, I heard a little rumor at work recently that we might have our jobs reclassified, which means I might have the potential of getting more money. Don't know if that's for certain, but if it is, that would be so helpful. Manifesting that it comes true, because that would be amazing. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, that would help a lot. You know, but before you get that raise, you need to learn how to not use your credit cards, because you're not that good at using credit cards. You have $16,000 on one card, a bunch of personal loans to consolidate a whole bunch of other debt. You're just not a credit card person. And I know if that was me with $20,000 credit card debt, I would be working like an absolute maniac to get that balance down, because that interest alone would be killing me right now. I couldn't sleep at night if I was her.
I'm in $135,092.74 in debt.
Damn. Nah, don't do that. That's not cute.
We are going to together hold each other accountable, and I'm going to get this shit paid off by the summer. So for personal debt, I have $62,474.62.
On what?
It's credit cards, 2 loans, my car that I just bought, and then my debt to the IRS. My new coffee
So hold up. When you have credit card debt, she owes debt to the IRS and she's buying cars still. This is the problem with this economy. Not even the economy. This is the problem with the people in the economy. We have debt. We don't take care of the debt. We just keep adding more and more debt. And we don't even have a plan to pay it off. It seems that that's happening a lot lately.
shop that hasn't opened yet is in $28,290.39 in debt. That's really not that bad, considering that was us building it from the ground up. The last debt is
I didn't even notice that you can make a coffee shop for like $20,000. That's nothing. That's why Starbucks is really doing very well lately.
Surfside Sips. Total for Surfside Sips is $43,720.31.
Jesus Christ.
So I am convinced I can get this majority. I'm not gonna say all $135,000 paid off. Who knows? Maybe. Main goal right now is to get Floor and Ivy open next week, get Surfside Sips debt free, and then pay off all of my credit cards at the very least. I was debt free last year, right? I was in a car accident. I went through a divorce. I moved into a house that's much more expensive, because that's the market we're in right now. I went on quite a few trips. Oh, and also
Trips.
I don't make money from Surfside Sips or Floor and Ivy yet, because I want to prioritize paying off the debt before I start taking owner's draw. So I'm excited to get on this journey with you guys.
That is a wild thing she just said. The year before, she was completely debt free. And within a year, she ran up $135,000 in debt, not getting a house. That's insane to me and extremely irresponsible. She must have been going through some emotional roller coaster to be spending that kind of money. She should have bought a damn therapist. They would have saved her probably a good 130,000 of the 135,000 that she has now. Jesus Christ.
Have a way to make money right here, which is what I'm doing. Also, if you don't see me posting every day, feel free to harass me in my DMs because I really have to get on my grind.
That is insane to me, man. Hopefully you do get on your grind because you know you're going to need it. You're going to need it. It's good that you got a coffee shop, but I hope everything works out for you.
I am coming on here to air my dirty laundry so you can feel better about yours. I am currently, are you ready? $145,533 in debt. That's cute, huh? So cute.
Yeah, do you see that right there? That was a completely real reaction. That reaction was a smile to keep myself from crying reaction. You know, because it usually doesn't hit people when something serious is supposed to be going on. It doesn't hit until you like say it out loud. That must have been the first time you said that out loud, and that's the reaction you get. It's painful.
2 car loans. There are some student loans in there.
2 car
and
loans.
a personal loan.
Personal loan.
And then consumer debt, credit card debt. So in the last 6 months, I think we've paid off about $7,000. And I thought, what better way?
$7,000 in 6 months. You obviously needed to sell some stuff, maybe the 2 cars, because you obviously can't afford it if you can only pay down $7,000 in 6 months. No, we got to get a better strategy for paying off debt now.
To keep myself accountable than to come on here, create a group of people that are also in the same situation or have gotten out of this situation or whatever the situation may be. But basically, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to get out of it. It's not going to be quick. And it's not going to be a good time.
No, it's
but,
not.
you know, shit's got to be done. So, I am currently going to just be checking in often and showing you guys what I'm doing, how I'm going to get there, what I've done so far, all the things. And I would love your advice and input going forward. So, yeah, it's time to do this. So, anyways, that's my dirty laundry. I guess it's better than a skid mark in your underwear. Although I don't know. I'd probably take a skid mark.
You know, I really wish they would like talk about how much they make, like the debt to income ratio, because that would really like give a better picture of how good or bad they are doing financially. He's got $145,000 in debt, 2 car loans, personal loans, student loan, credit cards, you know, pretty much everything. Didn't even include any type of mortgage yet. Well, I must be out of the loop because I can't understand how people run up this type of debt and not notice it and say, hey, I may need to slow down. I have too much debt. Like my debt is getting too much to the point where I can't handle it. I've never gotten to that point because I don't really do the whole debt thing. Try to buy all my cars with cash. I don't really use my credit card that much. Don't take out personal loans. If I don't have it in my bank account, I'm not buying it. That's how I feel. Unless it's like a mortgage. That's actually expensive. But the cars, I usually buy used cars. And this is very similar to the way people get fat. It's just a complete lack of self-awareness. And it seems like it's more so women that have that problem where they lack the things that are going on around them, that's going on with themselves. They just really lack self-awareness. And it's really sad.
I'm 35 years old and in $169,292.74
Good
of debt,
God, it's
and I
like the
still
number
live at
keeps
home with
going
my
up and up.
parents. And you might as well bump that up to $266,722.97 in debt if you add in how much I will pay in interest. I started aggressively looking at my debt in January and truly didn't know the full financial picture until I got it all down on paper. Debts include 2 private student loans, 10 federal student loans, 1 auto loan, 1 private loan, and 13 credit cards. I've already taken some drastic measures.
13 credit cards. You see what I mean by when I say lack of self-awareness? 13 credit cards is outrageous.
To reduce spending and start side hustling. I started posting my debt payoff journey here on TikTok in hopes of growing and getting into the creator fund. So if you made it this far, thanks so much for watching and following. I'm selling my debt tracking template. I'm door dashing, donating plasma, selling items around the house, and doing TikTok shop to try and make a dent. Made some really good progress so far thanks to an annual bonus I got from my 9-to-5 job, but I've got a long way to go. I've been able to negotiate most of my interest rates on my credit cards down with the help of a debt management plan, but the interest on my student loans is wild. My 2 private student loans have interest rates of 12.75% and 8.9%, while my federal loans range from 5.8 to 6.6%.
Oh my gosh, she's got private loans and federal loans. Jesus Christ. I hope she makes a good living. I really hope she makes a good living because that is insane to me.
The private student loans are from my undergraduate degree, which I earned over 15 years ago. I would probably puke if I knew how much I had already paid. And to this day, I think about all the frivolous things I bought and did when I was in my teens and 20s with this money, and wow, if I would have known I would be paying for tank tops and fun nights out at bars 1,000 times over the next 15 years, I might have made some different choices. Even though I've already paid off about $31,000 of debt so far this year, I'm still not looking at being debt-free until...
That is fantastic. $31,000 in a year that's phenomenal. But she's got a long way to go. She's got $169,000 left. Oh my God.
2040. I honestly cannot imagine another 15 years of paying on this debt, especially with so many other life milestones I want to achieve, like buying a house and having kids. I also just got engaged, and it truly makes me sick thinking about how I am bringing more than $150,000 of debt into our marriage starting out. This is not a video to complain by any means, because these were my own choices and I'm working to pay back what I owe, but I hope sharing this can resonate with others, and if you want to follow along on the journey and like and follow and share and all that fun stuff, that would be great.
Well, I will say that 2 incomes is definitely better than 1. You know, you have your side hustles, you get married, and your husband has his side hustle. Y'all can both work together and knock this crap out as quickly as possible. I hope y'all knock it out as quickly as possible, because it sounds like you have a spending problem if you still have this debt from 15 years ago. Since you was 20 years old, you've had this debt. But I am glad that she's deciding to wait to have kids, you know, because the last thing you want to do is bring kids into the picture, which is going to make your expenses a whole lot more, and you're not going to be able to work as much.
Hi there. Let's talk about this number right here. This is how much debt I have. I'm about $180,000 in debt from both federal and private student loans, my car loan, credit cards.
That is
That
insane.
is all of my debt. I am 24 years old. I have a bachelor degree, so not even a master's. I have 1 minor, no focus in my major, as well as an honors degree, which did require some extra credits. So that is where this number is coming from. This is on top of the little amount of scholarships that I was awarded, so money I didn't have to pay back. This is everything I owe. Everything I owe. I came out of college in June of 2024, and I did not look at the debt that I was accruing. I took out loans as I needed them each year for college.
Well, there you have it, folks. She ended up with $188,000 in debt simply because she didn't bother to look at it. Lack of self-awareness. Lack of self-awareness is absolutely insane. She's just been out of school, not even a year yet, and she wants to look at it now. Oh, this is going to be a painful one.
And I didn't really think about what the percentages meant because I was never taught financial literacy.
No. I hate when people say that crap. You were taught financial literacy, and even if you didn't know financial literacy, you can always look it up. That's not an excuse.
Think about what the realistic number was going to be that I would have to owe each month on these loans, and they are astronomical, I will
Sure.
say. Sally Mae, which is my private loan creditor, wants $1,800 a month from me. That's
get to
not,
paying it
that's just Sally Mae. I am right now in a grace period for 12 months where I only have to pay $1,033 to Sally Mae. I would not be able to afford the $1,800 a month if I wasn't able to get it down for 12 months. I don't know what I'm going to do in 11 months, but this is just me talking about it. On top of that, I owe about $287 to the federal government per month. That's not changing. And I owe $202 for my car payment, and that's not even including the $150 or $60 that I owe each month for the car insurance or my credit card payments. That doesn't include any of that.
So she is already setting herself up for devastation. $1,000 in student loans, $200 for the federal government a month. These are per month. Another $250 for a car payment, $150 for insurance. The only saving grace here is that she lives at home. Had she not been living at home and she had to go out and pay rent, she'd be screwed. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with living at home. That's your saving grace. Okay? You can always run back to mommy and daddy. She's just getting into adulthood. She's 24 years old, still young. She can still make these mistakes. But hopefully she learns a very, very valuable lesson in the very short time that she's been an adult, not to do this stuff again and to keep track of this stuff, because this whole thing happened simply because she wasn't aware of it. That's her excuse. Well, let's continue.
So, alone, Sally Mae wants $1,800 from me. I graduated college, as I just mentioned, in June of 2024, so this last year, and I wanted to just have a nice summer because I have been doing school for the last 5 years, and I've been taking summer courses full-time every year, and as well as working full-time. So this is also like the debt I have, and I was working full-time during the summers, and I was working part-time during the school years, so that's all, like, I still had no money, like, and I had to take out loans. So, being 23 years old, almost 24 when I graduated, I decided that I was just going to get a part-time job so that way I could only work part-time during the summer and kind of enjoy the summer, because I had been doing over full-time in schools and working and had a role in my sorority, and I decided that I was just going to work part-time. And if I had looked at my loans fresh out of college, which I highly recommend you do if you have loans, do not wait until they are due to start looking at them.
You should have been looking at your loans throughout the entire process of you going to school. Then you would have realized, oh, this is getting way too high. Let me not sign up for the student loan, take a break from school, maybe go work, go find some work, try to pay off the debt or something, instead of not looking at it throughout the whole time that you've been going to school.
I decided to do that and made barely any money, but I didn't have any loan payments at the time during the summer. And I wish that I had started making the payments as soon as possible on those loans while I had them. So I worked part-time. Around November, my best friend was like, hey, I have loans. You have loans. Have you looked at what your loan payments are going to be? And I was like, shh, can't be that bad, right?
What?
Wrong. I looked at my loan payments and I cried. Because I was not taught financial literacy. And I didn't understand how a credit company for student loans could charge me $1,800 if I wasn't making that much. I thought, okay, there must be something similar to the federal aid where you can do it based on income. No, they don't offer that. So I would also look into that before you take out student loans, if they're going to offer income-based or anything. They don't offer that. The best I could do was bring it down to $1,000. And then I was struggling to find a full-time job. I applied for like 3 months to over probably 500 jobs before I finally found one. This is the catch, that doesn't even require my degree. I found a job that paid $20 an hour, 40 hours a week, and it was degree recommended, not required.
So I'm very confused as to why people like her in her situation always love to do the research afterwards. She didn't even research what the job market was before she decided to go into college for whatever field she went into to only get a bachelor's degree and then come out of college with $188,000 in student loan debt. How about pick up the phone and instead of going down TikTok or scrolling on Twitter or X or whatever, Facebook, go research your degree. Research your degree field, what they pay and what the job market is like for that field. But instead of doing that, you just sign a student loan. Every semester it comes up, just sign a student loan. I'm not even going to look at it until afterwards. And then when I see that it's how much it is and see what I'm going to owe every single month, I'm going to cry about it. It's too late for crying. You already did the deed. Time to start paying it off. It's time to put your big girl panties on because you're an adult now and get yourself out of this mess.
Felt very grateful for that opportunity. I just don't understand why companies and jobs want you to have stepping stones but don't consider your degree to be the stepping stones or the foundation for working for those companies, and they want to pay less money for more years of experience. It doesn't make sense. It's really hard to find a job right now, like really, really hard. Anyway, flash forward, I'm doing this and I'm able to make my bare minimum payments, but that doesn't matter because in 12 months, I'm still going to owe $1,800 bare minimum on the Sally Mae loans, and I cannot afford that. And I make $41,600 a year before taxes. Now, flash forward, I'm at this job for a couple months and I start to struggle really badly with my mental health. I'm talking like can't get out of bed except to go to work, really struggling, losing passion for everything, falling into...
Honestly, I think mental health, like mentalness being an excuse, is really you just being lazy. It's you just being lazy. Your mental health has nothing to do with you getting up, going to work, paying off these damn loans, right? You can kick and scream all you want, but those loans are not going to go away until you decide to pay them off. That's it. Your mental health has nothing to do with your finances. Well, they do, but that shouldn't be the excuse for you not going to work. We need to grow up now.
A mix of, I would say, seasonal depression because it's winter and I struggle with that a lot, and also depression because my life is not going the way that I want it to go. And that is a hard thing to grasp. And also debt is really hard. It's a hard thing, and like a lot of people struggle with it, so it's not just me coming on here. Like I'm very grateful and I am privileged, and there's a lot of things that are going well in my life, but like that debt is still looming over my head, and that is a real thing. I decided that this job was not worth staying at any longer because of how much it was impacting my mental health. I was crashing out all the time and I really tried to stick it out, but I was just really starting to see no purpose in my life, even though it was helping me make those bare minimum payments. I have since put in my 2 weeks and I'm going back to 2 part-time jobs that I've calculated out will make the same amount of money I make at this full-time job that I supposedly got with my degree. So I'm still going to make $41,600 and be able to make my bare minimum payments.
So instead of working just one job, you're going back to working 2 jobs to make exactly the same amount. This is why you're going to fail in life, because you obviously don't know how to think and be rational. Because a rational person would say, if I'm going to work 2 jobs to make the same amount as 1 job, let me just work the 1 job. Just work the 1 job instead of putting 2 jobs on your back, and now you have double the work to do.
But I am really worried about what I'm going to do in 11 months when I have to owe $1,800 just on Sally Mae. I am putting this out there as like kind of a way to warn people about looking into what your loans look like. Teach yourself financial literacy. But I'm also putting this out there to ask, what's the best case scenario? I don't really know what to do, and I've been trying to do research. I don't want to get sued by Sally Mae. It's hard to find a job. I don't really want people coming out here being like, well, just go find a higher paying job. You were silly to drop down to 2 part-time jobs. That is not the advice I'm looking for. I'm looking for a best way to knock out my loans and start paying them off faster.
So you're basically looking for what sounds good to you. But what sounds good to you is usually never the thing that ever works. It's usually the hard thing that you have to make the sacrifices for that work the best and work the quickest. Getting 2 jobs is just going to put more and more stress on you.
With what I have, I'm making the bare minimum payments and a little bit more, and that's basically all of my income, and I'm looking for other ways to make extra money. So if I have to start door dashing as well, I'm gonna go back to a job where I'll also be making tips. All of that's gonna go towards it. What is the best way? Should I attack the ones that are high interest first? Should I go after the ones that are the smallest? Like, I'm genuinely curious, best way to knock out these loans, because I'm trying to be debt free. There was a time in my life where all I wanted was to make a ton of money. I don't care. Financial freedom to me looks like being debt free. I would love, and I'm not saying this is possible, but I don't think it's impossible either. I would love to be out of debt by the time I'm 30. That's 6 years from now. I have a lot of debt. I don't know how possible that is, but I would have to put all my money towards it.
Yeah.
I've
Stay
not
at
made
home. Don't move out. Stay at home. Maybe even sell your car if you have to. You got to do what you got to do if you want to reach that goal of being debt free by 30.
good financial choices. Like, I'm literally going on a trip in April. Like, I'm not saying that I'm perfect or that, but that's aside the case. That is aside the case. The point is, I can make the bare minimum right now, and I know that I could make more if I need to. Despite going on this trip in April, we don't need to talk about that. I'm still making choices. But I want to find out a way that I can get out of debt. I'm trying to find all these extra ways to make money. I'm going to keep, probably eventually in the future, apply to jobs, but it's just, this is the reality of it. It's just like, it's not like I'm magically going to make more money to pay off this debt. I am where I'm at. So I don't know. I'm looking for help, and I'm also trying to give some advice, but you should really educate yourself on financial.
All right, I'm gonna stop it right there. There's a lot of nonsense because she's talking about she needs help, but she's doing nothing to help herself. Why would someone help you when you aren't willing to do the things you have to do to help yourself? She's about to go on a trip next month, and she's crying about her student loan debt, her student loan payments, and everything else she has to pay for, but she's still blowing money. She's not going to get out of debt by 30. She's probably going to get out of debt by the time she's 50. She keeps going on this path that she's going down. She's in almost $200,000 in debt, and all I hear from her are excuses. Excuses. Her mental health is crazy. She's dealing with depression. Her life isn't what she thought it would be at 24. Well, obviously, none of our lives were what we thought they would be at 24. I'm 30, and I still don't know what my life is going to be like. But trying to sweep this debt under the rug is not going to solve anything. Quitting one stressful job to go work for 2 stressful jobs is not the answer. And I don't even know why you expect to have less stress working 2 jobs than you working 1 job where you only make $40,000 a year. It can't be that damn stressful. So go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Am I off? Am I off on this? Am I just out of touch? No, let me know in the comments section below. Let me know how much debt you guys have. For me, I have no debt. I'm debt free. No car loans, no student loans, no credit card debt. I'm debt free, and it feels so good. How do you guys feel? Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all next time.